Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I am the Crypto Crow. We are live today. It is Monday. It's a Monday, and I'm feeling it. Not for any particular reason, but I'm actually kind of excited because I have a huge checklist of stuff that I want to do today. We're going to cover several different projects in today's video. I've also got 4 long videos that are being cut up with AI into 1 to 10 minute clips that I'm going to just start blasting all over my social media. Want to try and have a productive week and get a bunch of stuff done. And I'm just working on a lot of stuff. I'm trying to kind of get grounded. I feel like the market is getting ready to blow. I feel like we're getting to a point where sentiment is slowly changing. People are starting to regain confidence, and I think that I think some big things are going to start happening soon. We're in the middle of April, and I've been calling now for quite a while. I don't even know when I started the whole May Day thing. We'd have to go back and look, but I think a lot of stuff is being it's all evolving and pushing towards May being a significant month as we move into the further into this crypto cycle. So we're going to cover some stuff. We're going to cover Sonic a little bit. We're going to cover a little bit about Midnight. And then we're going to cover some Telcoin. Now, I found Telcoin so many years ago, and I really thought it died. I thought it was just kaput. I thought, you know what? I thought at the time I was really bullish on it. And the tokens were so cheap, and they still are, but we're going to talk about Telcoin a little bit because they're working on some really big things and they are still grinding. So after all these years, and I've seen some people in the chat, let me tell you something. I know there's one individual in particular that keeps, basically posting updates in my Telegram and all over the place, like Telcoin this, Telcoin that, obviously a big holder. Well, here you are. I took notice and I did look at some of those things. And, a lot of people think that I ignore them if I'm getting messages or I read it or I leave you on red or something. I do different things at different times. I could be out and about. I could be waiting for my daughter to try on clothes. I could be waiting for, I could be waiting for anything, right? It just depends on what's going on. I might look at it. I may not have time to respond in the moment, but I see it. And sometimes I go back and I do what I can, folks. I'm a one-man team. I don't have a bunch of people. I haven't sold out to Solana, so I've only got myself and I. I don't have a team of 10 well-funded, well-paid people, helping me toe a line. So it is what it is, right? But that's the truth, and that's what I do the best that I can. So let's go ahead and start diving into what's going on. Cardano anomaly. ADA's quiet now, but the math says otherwise. And this is basically talking about how Cardano it's gearing up. It's gearing up for some big moves. And I believe it is as well. He further noted that a key resistance level lies around the 62 cent mark, which could act as a near-term hurdle for Cardano's for ADA's price advance. On the downside, solid support has formed near the 56 cent level, providing a cushion against potential pullbacks. Gem XBT also highlighted that the moving average convergence divergence MACD indicator is currently crossing above the signal line, which suggests growing buying interest. And we know this because we've been seeing it for a while. We've been watching whales accumulate en masse in Cardano for quite some time. Potential breakout possibilities: if Cardano continues its upward trajectory and successfully breaks above the 68 cent resistance level, it could open the door to more gains. The key next levels to watch are at 81 cents and 90 cents, where the price may encounter additional selling pressure. A break above these levels would push ADA toward even higher targets such as 117 and 158. It's just a matter of time, and I think that May is definitely going to be a big. I predicted a long time ago that we break $2 in May. We'll see if I'm right, but that was my prediction a while back, and I still hold to it. I think it's absolutely possible. There's so much stuff going on, man, and May is going to be such a mind-blowing month. And even if we look at some other things, which I wanted to have set up for this video, but I wanted to throw the M2 global money supply over the Bitcoin chart. And like, it doesn't matter what I look at across the board. It doesn't matter what chart, looks like we're probably going to be entering QE here very soon. And some people have said it's already begun. It just hasn't been announced. I don't know how that works. There are really so many different factors playing into just sending this as we get into May. Visa joins Robinhood, Kraken, and Galaxy Digital as a member of the Global Dollar Network. The USDG Consortium is an alliance of fintech and digital asset firms focused on promoting a regulated, transparent, and yield-sharing stablecoin infrastructure. All of this stablecoin stuff that's going on, man, it's like, I tell you, I just don't think we're ready. I really think that this is kind of we've been crawling in crypto with little bouts of energy. I almost look at the whole thing as one big fight. In fight training, they teach you to train in bursts, right? Because typically in a fight, you're calm, you're circling, you're moving a little bit, right? But you're throwing these like counter bursts or these offensive bursts that are using a burst of energy. Then you want to reset. I feel like that's what's happening. It's the same thing in the crypto markets. It's like an explosive fight where, it's bobbing and weaving and it's just kind of circling the opponent, the opponent being, well, the last administration, if I'm honest. I mean, everything that's been going on has basically been fighting them because they just want all their banking buddies and the cartels and everybody that gives them so much cash to like continue running the show. And now that things are changing, I will say, even though I say that, I still believe, I really do. I still believe that cryptocurrency is an overall technology and a way to advance society forward. I still think it's all part. I mean, there are a lot of people that don't know, but I still believe that cryptocurrency overall was created specifically to usher us into a digital age with a one currency, one digital ID, all of that. You can call it what you want. I think that one side of the aisle has just gone so far bazonkers that it's like it's like, okay, you guys have just lost the plot. Let's bring some more responsible, sane people in to keep moving this forward. I really do believe that. And I think that it's being done in ways that are ultimately going to help a lot of us, at least at first. But I think all roads lead to the same place. That's what I think. So it doesn't matter. I mean, my goal at this point is to try and benefit from the transition as much as humanly possible so that, myself, my family, my kids, and hopefully their kids don't have to worry as much about being under the thumb of like what could potentially change into some sort of crazy regime. And I'm not talking about this administration at all. I'm talking about as we continue moving through administrations and the way the ebb and flow of politics and all that. I mean, we could end up in a full-blown technocracy before long. I don't, we'll see. There's so many thoughts that I have, but I'm always paying attention. And if you don't know what a technocracy is, you might want to pick up a book or two on Amazon and read about it. Because I mean, a part of me believes that really the whole last administration was a technocracy masked as a democracy. I really do. I think we had a president who obviously wasn't doing anything. He was being handled by a group of people. A lot of the oligarchs behind the scenes that were supporting and propping up that administration, that effectively is what a technocracy ultimately is. It's a bunch of wealthy people with a lot of power and a lot of knowledge, and they basically make all the decisions for what happens to a society moving forward. And typically they're appointed. They're not elected. And I think that we just kind of survived one, honestly. A lot of people aren't going to want to believe that or acknowledge it, but it's just the way I see it. So anyway, but all the stuff that's going on with Visa now joining a lot of this stuff and the stablecoin markets, I think it's all going to get absolutely bonkers. Mantra's OM token crashes 90%. Of course, the founder blames exchanges. Now, I don't know anything about OM. I stay away from a lot of this shit because I just don't. It's just not worth the risk to me anymore. The price Mantra's OM token dipped more than 90% within a day as its market cap fell from over $6 billion to $681 million. I mean, this is crazy, man. Mantra co-founder JP Mullen wrote on Twitter that reckless forced closures initiated by centralized exchanges on OM account holders led to the token's collapse. He further claimed that there was one particular exchange responsible for it, but denied that it was Binance. Well, why wouldn't you call them out? On-chain analytics platform Look On Chain claimed that at least 17 wallets deposited 43.6 million OM tokens worth $227 million then into exchanges. These tokens constituted 4.5% of the total circulating supply. It was my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the founding group hold like 90% of the tokens already? This is why you don't buy God, people. I mean, I don't know anything about this project, but I'll be damned if I'm going to buy into a token where the founding group still retains 90% of them. I mean, that's just stupid. I'm sorry. Any way you slice it, that's stupid. I don't care if they're the most honest team on the planet. It's still stupid. This is crypto, people. Oh my God. People just love chasing that dragon. Looking at the Pi cycle top indicator, man, we've got a wide berth. We're ready to go. Honestly, we're ready for a tear at this point. I'm definitely ready to see it. And we're moving forward. This is a weekly chart with Bitcoin. And, we're just continuing to steadily move forward, obviously with Cardano smart contracts being ushered in, hopefully in May, to Bitcoin. I think that's going to be a huge catalyst. I'm telling you right now, if there's anything you get out of this video, is midnight is coming. It is coming. And it's going to be huge. If you're not into Cardano, and I know that I'm going to be doing a full video about midnight in the not so distant future, where I break down a lot of things. But it is coming, and there's a lot of buzz going on about it. And I honestly think this is going to be mind blowing. I think there's still a lot of stuff I still don't know. I've been working on any contacts I have to try and get me anything to chew on, anything going on. And all I know is that it's coming. And I think that it's probably going to be May. And I think that when it hits, I think the Cardano blockchain is going to explode for a multitude of reasons. I think it's just going to blow up. There are going to be tens of millions of people, even if it's just them coming to claim their midnight tokens from airdrops on like multi-chain airdrops. It's still going to send Cardano's on-chain metrics through the roof. It's going to bring a lot of new addresses. And the thing is I think that once that starts happening, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more people that are like, wow, I've got some Cardano now. If they happen to sell their midnight, I think personally, I'm not selling my midnight tokens. I'm not. I don't care what happens. I don't care if like all the degens on other chains, they just hurry up and rush and get their quick cash freebie to buy their favorite degen token instead. I think those people are going to be absolutely foolish personally. I mean, that's my opinion. And I know we're going to get a lot of people that do that, but that's okay, because there's going to be a lot of volatility in Cardano's price, Midnight's price. It's going to shoot up. It's going to come in correct. It's going to do all kinds of stuff. But once that settles, and then a lot of the technology that's being built to utilize Midnight starts launching and releasing and announcing who they are and what they're doing, all those people are going to just facepalm, and they're going to deserve it. Don't be a degenerate. Here's the thing about Midnight. Midnight is not an airdrop that's coming to Cardano because Cardano needs it. Okay? This isn't one of these like shitty meme coin things where it's like, buy our shitty, like useless token because we're going to airdrop a bunch of other shitty, useless tokens onto that. That's the selling point for a lot of these crappy degen token plays out there. This is not it. If you dump your midnight tokens when you get them, I believe, my personal opinion, you're kind of a fool because you don't understand it. And if you're selling those assets before you even understand the technology behind it and what it is and what its purpose is, especially before you find out who's doing what with it and why, I'll probably buy them from you at the bottom. Let's put it that way. So we'll see. The dollar is still basically coming down quite a bit. It basically dropped all the way to a low of 99, and it's working its way back up, but I think this is probably going to tank even further in the not so distant future. Oh boy. Oh, big yawn. It's early for me. I mean, it's early for me to be doing videos. I need some Crow token TA. I haven't even looked at that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. But this is Bitcoin now on a 4-hour candle. And you can see that we got a weak diving crow in this candle here, but it reversed, and it reversed right into a weak flying crow and then started taking off. We're still in that, and we haven't had anything. Here's the thing, so that you guys know, this is what I'm doing. I'm working on creating some different systems that I'm going to map out, and I'm probably going to put into one full video. But I am using I'm using a combination of indicators for what I'm doing now. I'm using the chart prime indicator, which there's a link in the description below. And then I'm using little elements of market cipher. I want to use more, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can right now. But my add-ons to the chart prime are this screener. And then, like, you can see the weak flying crow, strong flying crow, all of these, right? You've got the strong diving crow that triggered here. And then shortly after this strong diving crow that started getting some recovery, but it didn't pull all the way back up. And then we got this blood diamond from the market cipher indicator. And when those two things happen, boom, it just plummeted, right? And so that's what I'm kind of doing, is I'm adding to the confluence of indicators that I'm using to kind of anticipate what's coming. And it's pretty daggone accurate right now, man. I mean, I think I'm getting a pretty solid system to better understand what to expect. We've got basically bullish liquidity down here, which basically sent the price up. And now we're establishing more. I mean, that's pretty much where we're at. And so what this is on the left is, you can see all these different symbols, right? You've got Litecoin USD, TRX USD. You can see their prices, you can see their volume. And what happens is, this is showing me if any of my crow signals have triggered on any of these assets. And you can set it. You can set it in the settings. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can set. But that's basically what that's doing, is it saying, hey, what assets, excuse me, what assets out there just triggered like a weak flying crow, so that I can then go to that asset and look and confirm whether or not I want to make a move. Like, what else is going on in that asset? I really do think that my the crow indicator is pretty bomb. There's a link in the description below. It'll take you to this page. And yeah, check it out. You've got the Crow Trend Scanner, which is basically looking at all the different assets, 30 different assets at a time, to basically tell you if you're getting any major triggers. And that's, of course, a part of the total Chart Prime toolkit, which I've used a lot of the different stuff. There's so much stuff with this suite. I don't use it all because I don't even understand how to use a lot of it. But there are a lot of guides, and there's a Discord community, and there are a lot of people that are really using this successfully and love it. I actually like it myself. I just use it a little differently than most. So check that out if you're interested. I'm pretty sure Crypto Chef uses this suite. I see him all the time posting signals in the Telegram group. God love him. And you know, he does pretty well because he likes to post his gains and losses and things as well. This is Cardano, currently on a 4-hour chart, and we are moving into bullish liquidity over here that basically concludes around the 67 cents. Now, once we get up to the 74 cents, this should get sent. And I think that that's basically what we're doing, because we're going to have to work through this area here of around 69 cents or thereabouts to get up to this point. And then I think we just start taking off from there. When that happens, I'm not 100% sure. We're going to have to wait and see, but it's doing pretty well. And right now it's basically bouncing off of the 65 cent resistance level, but we're working on it. You can see it even in real time. It's trying to get through that. Once it chews through that, then we're probably going to get a couple of bounces. I'm going to assume we're probably going to hit somewhere around the 69-cent level. Okay. I'm going to hazard a guess and say we hit somewhere around here, and we're going to run up here. We're probably going to bounce back down. All right. We're going to bounce back off of this 67-cent level. And then we're probably going to go. Now, this could happen once or twice as we chew up a lot of this bearish liquidity that's sitting here. But once we chew through that, then we go up. And I really do think that it gets sent at that point. And then we probably from here start looking at post 80 cents. And I'm hoping if it's possible, I would love to see us start the month of May above 81 cents. Closing at above 81 cents and then turning 81 cents into support from there. That would be amazing. So we're going to find out. Now, let's take a look at Telcoin, shall we? Because I'm completely flabbergasted that this is a thing, that this is still just really moving. Not because it was crappy, but I mean, it got up to basically a penny. And this was on 2/16 of 2025. Let's look at all time. If we look at the all time, it was up at about 5 cents in 2021. Now you're thinking 5 cents, that's nothing. You're right. Look where the price is right now. It's a fraction. It's at 0.004 cents right now. If it were to get back up to 5 cents, the gains would be absolutely huge. I wasn't paying attention because I thought this was dead, as it was for so long. There wasn't a lot happen. And look at this. I mean, you know, if you got into this, when did I get into this? It had to have been 2017. Well, this is all, maybe, was it 2018? Well, either way, I mean, I got in at like really low lows. And, you know, we're probably about double that now. So it's come all the way back down. Is this March? You know, that's February. So right before the big market push in 2020. Well, that was last year. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm losing my mind. But anyway, Telcoin's actually, I think there's actually a lot of promise in Telcoin. I think that the markets that Telcoin's on, there are a lot. This token has been around for a minute. You're looking at $2.46 million a day in daily trade volume with a market cap of around 482 million. Now, is this thing going to go to $1 or anything crazy? No, I don't see that happening anytime soon, if ever. But I do believe that this could get up to maybe 5 or 10 cents if all things play out well. They just launched the new Telcoin wallet, which I haven't even touched or experimented with yet, but it looks pretty smooth. I'm going to be checking that out. And there's a lot about Telcoin, okay? And this isn't going to be a big deep dive video. I'm just letting you guys know that my eye is back on it. I'm actually checking it out once again because I do believe that there's a lot of stuff happening. In September, we were excited to receive notice from the Nebraska Department of Banking and Finance that our application to create Telcoin Bank, a digital asset bank, was deemed complete. This marked a major milestone for our company and the entire blockchain industry and had been in the works since we had the exciting opportunity to work with Congressman, then State Senator Mike Flood, on drafting the Nebraska Financial Innovation Act back in 2021. These guys are getting into the politics of things to usher in the way they want to advance themselves into the market. How often do you see that? Telcoin is proud to be the first company to get to this point and is now on the verge of becoming the first true crypto bank in the US and the first regulated bank issuer of stablecoins, what we're calling digital cash in the world. Telcoin remittances, digital banking, these guys are doing it. And it's funny because nobody talks about Telcoin. Why do we not talk about Telcoin? Why does this stuff not come up in conversation? I'm going to tell you why. Nobody's being paid. Okay? Here's the thing. When we're in the midst of such a crazy cryptocurrency market, and there are assets being thrown all over the place, many of which have significant marketing budgets that are coming to influencers like me, and they're saying, hey, we've got some money. We want to get the word out of what we're doing, what we're building, where we're at, our latest update, whatever. And then we say, okay, cool. And then they pay the bill, and then we do the segments, and they get a buzz, and then it becomes like a continuing thing, right? Because some of the larger influencers typically set the standard where a lot of other smaller influencers want to talk about things that are relevant because of keyword searches. And you get what I'm saying with that? And it creates this cascading effect throughout crypto, and it's like a wave in a stadium. But when projects like Telcoin, they're not out there shelling out money to influencers to get the word out. It's up to everybody that originally was a part of the community long ago that understood kind of its value position and what it was trying to accomplish all the way back then. Unfortunately, it takes a long time to try and create something powerful. And a lot of people have lost interest. They forgot it even existed, including myself. I haven't heard about it. A lot of times I remember projects that I like if they're still working and they come to me and say, hey, this is not a sponsored segment, by the way. I'm just telling you how it goes and why projects like Telcoin can fall to the wayside, because they're working on building, not pushing. They're working on trying to establish themselves as something that people are going to want to talk about. And then maybe once they get to a certain point, they start basically bringing in influencers and educators and things to start getting the word out about what they're doing. But they're not doing that now, which is why none of us think about it, because they're all competing with other projects that are newly funded, venture capitalist groups, whatever. And that's how that's happening. And I'm just being very honest. That's how it works. And but I like Telcoin a lot, and I was very bullish about it back in the day. And I'm really pleased to see that they are still working. And this is a deep rabbit hole. And maybe at some point in the future, I'll do a deeper dive into what's happening. I just wanted to let you guys know Telcoin's still a thing, y'all. Go ahead and maybe grab some if you want. I don't know. Not telling you what to do or what to buy, but there you go. Now, as a follow-up on Sonic, this is a big deal because there are so many influencers out there talking about Sonic. It's currently up 17. Wait a minute. That was a different metric. It's up about 2% on the daily right now. And it's come down a little bit since I've talked about it last. It was around 60 cents. Now, the question is, does Sonic have legs? Is this going to continue moving forward? Is this going to be a big, bull market play? Locally here on 3/26/2025, its local high was around 63 cents, and it's continued to come down since then. The question is why? You had another high here close to $1 back at the beginning of the year. This is when I believe, I'm just going to hazard a guess, everything I was just saying that Telcoin doesn't do, I think Sonic did do. They're out there pushing, influencers all over the place. They're buying in, they're doing segments, they're doing their thing, and they're building up the popularity of Sonic. But in the midst of all of the tariff stuff and the uncertainty in the markets, a lot of people have been shaken out. It's still technically an unproven asset. And so everybody's watching and waiting. This is the most recent video that I've seen talking about it. 400,000 transactions per second. That's Sonic Labs' new layer 1. And I'm like, is it? It's an EVM. I'm a little confused, and I'm gonna have to look deeper into that. But it was basically like it came out as like an Ethereum EVM sidechain, as I understood it, which kind of irked me. It kind of freaked me out a little bit because I just don't trust a lot of EVM sidechains. They're just not secure enough, and basically every developer in the world will tell you that it's a little sketch. Not that Sonic is sketch, but just the very nature of an EVM sidechain. And I think that's a part of why Ethereum isn't doing so well, because a lot of the side chains that have been introduced to try and improve on Ethereum's position in the market, there are just too many issues associated with them. So they're not growing and they're not booming in a way that a technology like that should. And that's what I think a lot of the issues are. So currently at 51 cents, Sonic is down around 36.7%. Do I think it has the potential to make a comeback? Yes, I do. There's a lot of liquidity in the market. we'll see what's happening, but they're like $37 million a day is being traded of Sonic right now on a daily. Okay, that's huge. You can get in and out of positions pretty easily. The problem is that how many people don't believe in what's happening in the market right now, and maybe they're looking at Sonic and they're saying, well, you know, and I'm not saying this is happening, but I'm just kind of curious. If you look at the all-time high, it was basically at the very beginning at almost $1. It's half of what it was when it originally launched and started building popularity. And it came back from the bottom, started from the bottom, now we're here. Back when the volume was only at $103 million a day, you know, it was trading at like 38 cents. So it's up since then, but basically half of what it was in its local peak. So, you know, there's a lot to be said about Sonic, though, and DeFi redefined. I think they're doing everything the right way in terms of getting it out there, and they're building a lot of interest from supporters and influencers and everybody. You know, they paid me to do a segment that I did weeks ago. This one isn't technically a paid segment. They didn't pay me to talk about it today. I'm just talking about it as a follow-up because I wanted to see how is the price performing in the midst of all of the craziness that we're seeing. It's not performing too bad, honestly. It's down about 10 cents since I last talked about it, but it hasn't plunged and it hasn't been dropping significantly. Confirming real-time transaction speed of 400,000 transactions a second with an average transaction cost of 0.001. Listen, this sounds better to me than Solana, I can tell you that. And maybe we'll see some competition between the two. I wouldn't mind that at all. Sonic VM, lightning fast execution, increased security, and reduced app crashes. Really don't think there should be any app crashes, but we'll see. Sonic Gateway and native bridge, audited by a Satora, Quant Stamp, Open Zeppelin. I don't know, man. I look at it like a lot of people are talking about it. I think it probably could become quite a big deal. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. Listen, midnight is cometh. Okay. Midnight a cometh. And I think midnight is actually going to take the crypto world by storm. And I honestly, I'm curious to know how and what happens to all of the midnight tokens that are airdropped to basically wallets that people just don't even use anymore. Like, what happens with those tokens? I'm really actually curious. And you know, at some point I'm going to have like Ian or Charles or somebody on to talk about it, because that's going to happen. I mean, there are going to be a lot of airdrop tokens that are just never put into circulation because people have left those wallets. Unless maybe the airdrop is like, you know, only wallets with activity within X number of days. That could be a thing. That would definitely be the smartest way of doing it. No, they're not focused on marketing. They're focused on the tech. I assume you're talking about Telcoin, and I believe you, and I agree with you. They've been focusing on building. And it's like a lot of other projects. You know, there's no point in pushing or trying to market something that's not ready yet. So I get it. That's why I talked about Telcoin today, because I think that they're onto something, and I think they're continuing. And like, listen, I don't think there's ever been a time for Telcoin to shine than right freaking now. That's the whole point of me bringing it up. So yeah. Cardano is a no-brainer in my opinion. I would be surprised if it doesn't hit $5. I'll be surprised if it doesn't hit 8. I think Cardano is going to be the beacon of light for all crypto in this market cycle. When things really start to get moving, and I'm hoping by tomorrow I do the video about the cycle. At some point this week, when I've got all my eggs in a basket, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. There's so much stuff. I mean, between everything happening with the government, the regulations, the stable coins, everything that's brewing around Cardano. Listen, Laos is probably going to be like 2026, but we don't need Laos for where Cardano is right now. Laos is a 2030 market play to me, in my opinion. We don't need that right now because we haven't even grown into what Laos is going to offer. So I'm not worried about that. I am very much interested in Midnight, the zero knowledge proofs, digital identity. I think that is going to be Listen, folks, whether we want to or not, we're all going to have a digital ID of some kind. It's all coming. The question is what technology is it going to be built on? And if Cardano becomes a bridge between like XRP, Bitcoin, other assets, I'm sure, and I mean, and then Midnight is basically going to become kind of like the privacy identity layer for all of those. I don't really think people understand. Like, I see so many different segments from different people and YouTubers, and they explain the technology as it reads out of the white paper, right? But nobody really understands or seems to understand or explain what exactly that means to us, the end user, the people that are using this technology. I don't personally care what the white paper says explicitly. I care about what it means, right? It's like, I can tell you, I've just invented a wheel for a cart. Cool. It doesn't sound all that exciting, but what else is a wheel used for? That's the question. What else is that new breakthrough technology going to change in the fabric of everything that we know? That's the question. And that's what's not spelled out in these white papers and technical terms in ways that really kind of extrapolate the idea behind what's being built. And so, yes, I did sell the Puerto Rico house at a loss. I took a little loss on that. Took a bit of a loss on that. It was a 6-figure loss. Wasn't happy about it. But yeah, sold that a while back. Agreed about Telcoin and excellent content here. Well, thank you, Leroy. I appreciate it. Kraken now providing stocks, real world assets, and always crypto. Yeah, I think I covered that, didn't I? I thought I did. I thought I did. I don't know. Sometimes I have articles pulled up and then they disappear on me. I don't know. But anyway, I'm like extremely bullish, man. I think there's so much stuff that's going to be happening over the next 90 days. Listen, folks, even the Trump administration, every time I see anyone in his cabinet, anytime I see anybody that is directly related to or effectively playing a role in this administration, they're all trying to tell us something. They are always basic. I mean, I just saw the secretary tell everybody to buy stocks. Not secretary, the Speaker of the House. Jeez, Pete, I got it all mixed up in my head. It's like Trump, the people in Trump's family, everybody in the midst of everything that's happening right now, they know that this is the opportunity for everyone, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, to get positioned in crypto, in stocks, whatever, before everything turns around. Because I can tell you right now, if the U.S. finally comes to terms with China and we work out an agreement that's mutually beneficial and that aspect of it all is done, we get sent. That's what I think. I think that we are gearing up for a lot of stuff. Now, in my opinion, and I hate to sound this way, but it's true. I really do believe that left-wing politicians want everybody broke. I think they want everybody broke. I think they want to have all the control, all the power. Anybody that basically has anything to do with playing a role in reducing that can basically go, I don't know, have a problem with your ear. I mean, like, I feel like, and a lot of the people that I see supporting it, I really do believe are a select few people of extremists that, they're more emotionally charged about some of the key counter issues or some of the key issues of the left. And so by just, I don't know what the process is, but it's like, well, I agree with this and I care about this, so everything else is okay too. I really do think a lot of that, and they don't really care about the nuances or the details or the realities or anything. They just care about what they care about, and they're very loud and proud about that. And it's like, all right, more power to you, but if you cut your nose off to spite your face, you're not doing yourself any favors overall. And I see a lot of that right now in the left, and have for quite some time. And it's just like, I want us to get to a place where we can all cohesively live, and you know, I can be very accepting. I'm very forgiving. I don't hold grudges. I don't have the energy to hold grudges. I've had people that have done me wrong, and it's just like, you know, listen, I may always understand who you are until I've seen how you may have changed. But I may believe and understand, like, this is you, this is who you are, and this is the role you play in my life. I've seen it many, many times. A lot of like fair weather friends, a lot of people that just kind of have their hand out, you know what I mean? But they don't really give a shit about you at all. You're just, everyone in their world is kind of there to serve them or their ego or their whatever, right? And I've always tried to be somebody like tries to take care of the people around me, because I have my flaws, I have my shortcomings. I'm very obtuse, I'm very direct, I'm very raw often. I mean, I don't know what it is about me. And I was thinking about that last night, as a matter of fact, as it relates to my older daughters, and just like, I am so direct, and so it's like, I always mean well, but I just come off some kind of way. And I'm very well aware of that. And I try to make up for that in other ways. But the point I'm getting at, that what I'm talking about is that I see so many people that are just blatantly confused, and they don't really understand what's happening. And like, we need to find a way for us all to be able to coexist and accept our differences, accept our shortcomings and our flaws, and figure out ways to just care again. I don't really feel like anybody cares anymore. I feel like everybody's so wrought with their own anger and frustration that everybody's looking for somebody to point the finger at, or somebody to blame for everything that they're probably responsible for themselves. And so I think that this administration, regardless of who you are, is saying, listen, we're spoon feeding you an opportunity to turn your circumstances around. Take advantage of it while we're all telling you to. You know everything that we have coming. You know everything that we're working on. Take advantage, start changing the tone of your life now. We're giving you that opportunity. Then we want to basically tax you less on it. We don't want more control. We want less. We want you to have more control. We want you, all the issues, the political issues, they're saying, we don't want these to be federal issues. We want these to be state issues. Everything is about basically taking the power from the one man at the top, which is the polar opposite of what we're being sold by the media, right? They're all wanting us to believe that, you know, he just wants to be this one guy dictating everything and all this other stuff. That is the polar opposite of what's actually happening. He's trying to empower the states and the people, and to basically give us opportunities to profit and to change our lives and to be able to withstand just basically and overcome the significant inflation and the way that the government has basically sent us into a toilet. And he's trying to fix all that. And I really, really do believe he's trying to fix all that. And a part of how he's trying to fix that is by stimulating the economy through the growth of the pocketbooks of the society within this country, while keeping those that don't deserve it or not a part of it or whatever out, right? I'm telling you, it's like, I can see the picture. For whatever reason, I feel like a lot of people can't. But listen, I'm invested. And you know what I really want? And I don't have any. I really want some Tesla stock. I really want some Tesla stock. There is no confusion. ADA has been weak since the end of 2021. People are frustrated with it, and it's understandable since there was no action in 4 years. Okay, so I will address this and then I'll probably sign off. Saying that there was no action on Cardano for 4 years is, and I don't mean this as in like an insult to you way, but it's a very ignorant statement. By that, I mean, you say no action over the last 4 years, and I assume what you mean is there have been no big price pumps to fill your bags with money in a bear market. Right? And so by that, you're saying that there's been no action. How about the fact that, you know, like we have a decentralized government, and a ratified constitution, the first ever in blockchain, on a decentralized blockchain, with more interoperability options than pretty much any chain out there. I could break down for you everything that's happened over the last 4 years, but if you don't care enough, that you haven't been watching this channel that long, and that you're ignorant of what those changes have been and where Cardano has come and what we're primed and ready to accomplish right freaking now, and then add on to that Midnight and the privacy layer and Bitcoin OS and all this other stuff. This is what's been happening. It's been building into the moment we're heading into right now. So, and you can't say anything about Cardano, because the only assets that have really been doing well in the bear market have been the ones that are artificially pumped, and they're completely bullshit chains that have been pumped by institutions and venture capital groups with an agenda. Those are the only ones that have done well. And a lot of them are trying to substantiate these artificial pumps in price that they have to maintain so that the validators can continue being profitable before they shut down in this house of cards. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's like people compare legitimate assets to what I believe are illegitimate assets based off of the price action that these illegitimate assets are able to accomplish, especially in low volume bear market cycles. And they say, wow, look at this moving. How did it move so much? Well, because it's easy to manipulate the price of an asset when it's a fairly centralized asset to begin with in low volume, because you can move the price with less money. When the market really starts to rip and things start to go, let's see what happens then. We'll see what happens with the blockchain that you claim has done nothing in 4 years against the blockchain everybody thought was going to change the world, but it's nothing but a house of cards full of smoke and mirrors, using a lot of the people as meat shields. How about that? Crow hits different since I'm in Florida listening. Crow dropping knowledge again. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's just like, when I use the term ignorant for people, I don't mean that as an insult. It's just people make very ignorant comments that tell me they're very ignorant of what they're talking about. And it's like, it is what it is. All right, I'm going to get back to work. I want to turn this fan on. I need to grab some kind of lunch, and I'm going to get ready with the rest of my day. It's 11:22. I've been live for almost 50 minutes. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to get to you're going to just start seeing a whole bunch of content hit my channels and my socials and everything. So, if you haven't seen a lot of my hour-long videos, maybe you'll start checking out some of these 1 to 10 minute clips of some of the most important elements of all of them. How about that? Until next time, thanks for joining me. Crow your coins, and I'll see you soon.